Hey, what's going on, champs? I'm Aaron Deliosa. Welcome to an Immigrant's Life podcast, my podcast about immigrants and immigration and everything in between. Thank you for listening and downloading the show, and thank you for supporting my dad.
Welcome back, Immigrant Nation. Another week, another great episode. You know how I love to start every episode each week, and that is how I love thanking you, my faithful listeners. To be honest, I can't thank you enough on how much support you guys are giving me and this podcast. I really, really appreciate it. For the ones that are new here, I'd like to welcome you to our community. I hope you like it enough that you will stay and subscribe to the podcast. Speaking of subscribe, An Immigrant's Life is available on all podcasting platforms, even on YouTube. After subscribing, I'd also appreciate if you could leave us a short and sweet review and a 5-star rating, as that's the best way to get An Immigrant's Life to be featured and be introduced to more listeners. Currently, I am only doing an audio podcast, but recently I've been considering of incorporating video as well. That's still under deliberation, but I'd like to know what you guys think. Should I start doing videos too? Let me know what you guys think. Reach out to me on Instagram and Facebook. My handle is @AnImmigrant'sLife, or you can also send me an email at @AnImmigrant'sLife@yahoo.com. I'd love to know what you guys think. Enough about me. Now, let's talk about the episode. This week, I spoke to a fabulous guest. He reminded me that trying to control things that you can't control is futile and that you should just breathe. I think I've said enough. So, without further ado, let's get into the show. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Today's guest is a fashionista, a food blogger, and the co-creator of Jewkarta, the reincarnation of Ibu Pertiwi. Everyone, please welcome Kley Klemens.
Hello, hello, hello. That's the reference from RuPaul. How's everybody doing?
By the way, before I forget, thank you for coming on the podcast, Kley. I really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I am so looking forward to this, and I'm so happy that finally we make this happen.
Hey, sometimes we have to move things a little bit, Before we get into it, why don't you tell the Immigrant Nation where they can reach you, or if you want to promote anything?
Yeah, of course. So if you'd like to see my personal life, you could follow my Instagram at Kley Klemens. But if you like to following me and my boyfriend's food journey or experience, especially in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, it's called Jewkarta. So it's like Jakarta because my boyfriend is a Jewish guy, so it's like Jewkarta. I think it's, explain it by itself.
Yeah. By the way, I love this name. It's so creative and it's so perfect because it encompasses exactly like you said, your boyfriend is Jewish and then you from Jakarta, it's just bam.
Thank you.
Who thought of the name?
I did. Well, it's so funny because Michael is the writer in our relationship. He knows how to write. He writes things beautifully, and you will be able to see that on Jakarta's Instagram for sure. But then we kind of banter ideas and all, and then I just comes in second, and it's like Jakarta, and then he said, I should be retired as a writer because you just got that in seconds.
It's beautiful. It's well done. I love that. And like you said, Jewkarta, Michael is the writer. He's, and you're the face. You know what I
mean? No, not really. I mean, I am the photographer too. I kind of I try to bring a little bit of personality to it. As you can tell that I don't have any personalities.
Oh yeah, zero. I show my wife your video and she's like, he's not like this all the time, right? I'm like, well, kind of push a little bit, but pretty much the same thing.
Well, after this chat, you will be able to tell back to her, how am I?
Yeah, you're like super lively and positive.
Thank you.
So, as I mentioned before, let's just have some background with you. I know you're from Indonesia. I know you said Jakarta, but were you born in Jakarta?
Yes, I was born and raised in Jakarta. I mean, my parents' background, they came from outside of Jakarta. So my dad was from North Sumatra from Medan, and then my mom was from Central Java. So yeah, and they kind of like immigrated to the capital city, and all of siblings of mine were born and raised in Jakarta.
Hmm. Your name, it's not Jakartan, it's not Indonesian name. Did
I
you
know,
westernize your name?
No, well, yes, I mean in a way, my legal name actually even unusual for Indonesian people. I think it's very Bataknis, like for a North Sumatran, I think. But yeah, Kley. I made it myself. It was the whole story, actually, from my university life. But you know, it just sticks with me, and I love like it spells differently than actual clay, you know, or common clay, let's say.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, you know, my first legal name is quite hard to remember. It's difficult, and it's just, you know, not a lot of people will be able to pronounce that correctly. So might as well. It's you know, Kley Klemens is a lot better. You know, it's like OnlyFans. You know, joke.
But no, for sure.
No, I don't have one.
That's just typical immigrant story. You know, like especially if you have an ethnic name, you come to a Western country and they're like, "What's your name?" and they'll change it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I don't have an ethnic name. I wish I have an ethnic name, but I don't have. You know, I mean, I spoke to a guest recently saying, I had some people that goes up to me and say like, "Hey, what's your name?" And I said, my name, Aaron, and they'll be like, "No, what's your name?" They wanted to know the Asian name, I guess, the ethnic name. Like, no, that's my name, dude. Because I don't. The funny thing, that's one thing I like that I wanted to talk to you is like, Philippines and Indonesia is right there. Like we're literally neighbor. Actually, if I see people from Indonesia, I'll say that's my people right there.
Mm-hmm,
you know, even though I know they're from Indonesia, I'm like, well, pretty much the same thing, the same look. You know what I mean? But the thing is, we don't know anything about each other. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so funny that you say that because I always get that kind of ID, you know, by Filipinos like all the time, probably like 90% of the time when people look at me, you know, they would ask me if I were a Filipino. And of course, you know, I'm not. And, but yeah, to me, it's like we have like this same, like very similar bone structures and all.
I mean,
know,
perfect
and
bone structure, you mean?
Well, yes. And, you know, our accent is quite similar to each other too. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know a lot about Philippines, even though, like you said, it's like neighbors and all. Well, I know for sure that, you know, you guys love fish, you know, we love fish too. Like, you know, as our, let's say, living in a country we're surrounded by oceans and all. Of course, that's like one of our most popular communities. But yeah, that's all I know. And I feel like there's so much, there's a lot more Filipino community here in Vancouver than Indonesian.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know much about Indonesians immigrating.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think a lot of Indonesians are very comfortable with how they live and where they are right now. We just like usually stay within Indonesia, and it's like for example, my family, like none of my family, let's say, I don't know, 2-3 generations, you know, never, like none of them like have lived outside of Indonesia until myself, you know.
Wow,
and that's also like another story, but yeah.
That's so interesting because Filipinos, as soon as you're born, the reason why you go to college is to take a course that you could bring outside the country. It's just our culture to travel.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, obviously, like my family never encouraged any of us to even like work or live outside of Java Island, let's say. They were not really encouraged. I remember when I was actually dating this guy in Bali. And I was still in the middle of university, and I traveled like back and forth Jakarta and Bali. And my mom at that time was just like, oh, how long you'll be there for, please don't find any jobs in Bali. I'm still here, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, okay, I'm just visiting for a few days. But of course, if I had a chance to like get a job in Bali, I would love to. But it's just like thinking that my mom wouldn't bless me with that kind of like choice. Of course, it set me back,
Definitely. Take us back to your childhood. What type of kid were you? Were you always been like this, like lively and active?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I think so. I mean, compared to my, I have one brother and four sisters. They're all like older than me because I'm the youngest. But my older brother, maybe a little bit more rebellious in what is it like? Like being just did drugs, did like drank and got drunk and everything, when he was younger. But to me, I was more like rebellious in a way that I translate all of that into kind of like performances and more like I created like I don't know, like a play or something, or being rebellious that I don't want to study and so much but I want to be creative all the time. And I think that's still in me, And yeah, I'm still like this, crazy person who always like, let's say an attention whore. That's what they call me, I guess. Without even trying. I didn't try anything.
Yeah, for sure. You're more of like a social rebellious.
That's true. Yeah. I love being social and being loved by people around me, of course, and really see that love.
Definitely. So growing up in Indonesia, by the way, where are you Muslim? What's your religion?
I was raised Catholic.
Catholic. Oh, that's so rare there, no?
Yep. Very, very rare. Yeah.
Who was in the family that decided to, you know what, we're going to the other team?
Well, my dad was born and raised Catholic, and then my mom was originally Muslim and converted to Christianity for my dad, and we all we knew was being Catholic.
Was there oppression towards Catholics there from the Muslim community?
Maybe indirectly, yes, I would say so. You always felt different when you were kids, growing up, and you're not like doing the fasting, during Ramadan, or like maybe have a long school break, because I think at that time, when you're Muslim, especially when you go to public school, you would have like a full month, break for fasting during Ramadan month until Eid. And I didn't get that because I went to Catholic school as well. It's private school. So it's just like making sure that I don't eat like in front of them and everything. And then the joy of like breaking the, like, what was it? Like like a very early breakfast that they do before they go through the day with fasting again. Yeah. So of course, there was certain kind of like difference that indirectly I felt, but oppression wise, I think um, it has becoming more common at the moment. I feel like.
Okay. Because I know in the Philippines, the majority are Christians, Catholics, right? And the people from the south, the Muslim are in the south, and there are conflict, endless conflict. And since obviously the Catholics are the majority, we oppress the Muslims. It's a reverse.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, not so much. I don't think that there was so much oppression like in Jakarta as a capital city. I think people who were there were pretty open-minded and kind of appreciate each other. But it's just like in a small towns, I feel like that it was so obvious, but then they didn't get like the publicity that they should. So it got worse because it was not seen. So it's the only thing that we could do is to put a spotlight on it when we can. But unfortunately, it always involves some kind of number of victims and everything to be seen. So that's what's unfortunate about that.
When was the last time you're home?
I was home in 2019, I believe. So just right before pandemic happened.
Lucky.
I know. Yeah, that was the last travel actually that I did.
I went back to the Philippines 2019 as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
and you haven't gone back ever since.
Well, yeah, because of the pandemic. To be honest, I've been lazy. I'm like, it's a lot of work,
Yeah, it's quite far, like from Eastern Canada to Philippines. Like, I mean, at least you would need like 2 stops maybe to like break the travel time even.
Yeah, I would prefer to have one stop.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
a longer flight, but I feel like it's faster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
So growing up, how was your social economic there? Your situation as a family?
Well, I don't think I can't say that I came from from a well-off family. I think my parents worked very hard to be able to send us to school and had the life that we had before. We were not like poor. We were just like enough. We were blessed and we were but still very respected, especially when my dad was very active at church. He was well respected in the community at church. So yeah, I mean, generally speaking, if we wanted to compare where I lived in the neighborhood, we would say that our family was not poor. But then compared to like probably generic
Canadian.
Canadian or like even like to be able to support the standard living in Jakarta, maybe right now you would put that like a little bit under the line.
That sucks.
Yeah.
So you're active in the church, right? You as well, personally?
Yes, I was. Yeah,
But
very active.
you are, church and, being gay, they don't mix.
That's true. That's true. Like this is something that we never spoke of. I never came out to my friends. I never came out, in the community that I'm gay. I'm just being how I am right now. Maybe I'm gayer than I was before right now. But probably it was just maybe 5% more right now. But yeah, I never really had a problem to kind of hide myself from people because I was afraid to be seen as a gay person. No. Again, I think this is also one of the gifts and blessing that I had to be able to like push through by my personalities and also kind of like the creative side of me. I love doing things. I love to be in front of the people. I love public speaking and those kind of things that people at church appreciated about me and they use me to it. But then of course there's gonna be like some people who made me uncomfortable about it and everything, and made things difficult, which, to me it was okay. There was nothing that I could handle that kind of like burden, my days, like, I felt discouraged. No, because I think I felt like I didn't have a sort of I shouldn't kind of explain myself to people for their benefit. I just have to be myself and for them to see how I am. And it's like, take it or leave it. It's okay, and I don't owe you anything. And I try just to be nice and kind to other people. And I think that's my principle. As long as you keep doing it, I will be just fine, regardless what's the response back from other people. It's not my business.
Even though you hear whispers from them?
Oh yeah. Of course. I heard it, but it just proved it's a proof to myself that I probably have done something right for other people, and they try to find something negative to say about me, because it's boring to be all great all the time. That's what I feel. No. In seriousness though, I also had a great support system around me, and those people at church that I hung out with and appreciated me and accepted me the way I was, they are still in my life right now.
That's beautiful.
Yep.
When did you realize that you want to play for the other team, if you know what I mean?
I don't know if I decided to, but it was...
No, when did you realize?
Oh, when I realized, I guess it depends on how you say it. Like if you meant that, I always like had girlfriends like around me, like, friends who are girls. I had that since I was like very young, like 5 years old or something like that. But I started to kind of like dig deeper into sexuality. I think I was probably in elementary school. I had a crush with one of my good friends at that time, and it made me so happy on my birthday that he kissed my cheek. Seriously, I don't know why he did that, but he did it. I'm sure that he won't remember about it right now, but it just stuck with me, and it just made me like happy and the cloud nine. It was so insane. It's like, oh my God, what was that? Like, what was that about? I mean, yeah, I would love to do it again, please.
More of that, please. More service. So,
yes.
I like what you said, okay? So in the Philippines, there's gay guys doesn't hook up with gay guys. They will hook up with heterosexual men. Because they think, at least most of the gay, and I grew up with gay guys. I mean, a lot of them. They say, there's a joke that they say, oh, they have the same blood, that same green blood. That's what they say. They're like, oh, I won't hook up with them because he's gay too. Is that the same in Indonesia?
Well, I don't know because I haven't explored that much.
Okay. No, but you said you dated someone in Indonesia.
Yeah, but my my interest is always with Caucasian people, generally speaking, and yeah, I never had any relationships with Indonesians or any Asian men. It's always with Caucasian men, and at that time, again, like I was open, but not really open. So I tried to, see options, obviously, with dating apps and everything. And yeah, and I never really knew how how was gay life at that time because I wasn't open enough and made me feel comfortable enough to go out there and looking for it. But instead, I'm gonna keep it to myself. But looking in the bush, let's say, you're behind behind the camera, behind the monitor, behind your computer, you try to look for it, including the dating apps. And thankfully at that time it was, we had internet. So there was something that I was grateful for as well, being gay in a very conservative country like Indonesia.
I like that you said that because my next question is, I heard that you were into catfishing.
Oh, wow. Where did you hear this?
Don't worry about it. I got people.
Okay.
Let's talk about that if you don't mind.
Yes. So again, because obviously it wasn't very easy being gay, like openly gay. So I was trying to get to know guys, but I wasn't so sure where to look to particularly find gay men. So at that time, it was just like a regular chat rooms, with regular guys. So I just wanted to get a sense of, I think, what Caucasian men emotionally and their mindsets and everything. I just want to pick up to it because look wise, appearance wise, yes, I know that I am so into Caucasian men, but I just want to get their brain on it, like how they see like Asian person. And I'm saying person because obviously they didn't know that I was a guy, they knew that I was a girl and everything. So it was kind of like my middle safe zone to kind of like coming out of my cocoon. I want to get to know the culture of Western people, from them. But on the other hand, I don't want to openly come out to look for gay men that I know that I'm interested in, just because it will be so much to handle, to learn about other people's culture, as well as still getting to know my own sexuality. So
yeah, were you scared? Was that because you're scared of socially that gay guys are not really accepted in Indonesia? That's why you're doing it. Other than I understand what you're saying about thinking how westernized men, the white man, looks at Asian people.
Afraid. I think I'm just being I was just being very cautious, probably. I just wanted to make sure that I felt comfortable with myself first and with what I wanted first before I actually put myself out there. So like talking to like a straight guy, it's kind of like my process to get to know my sexuality and my interests and my my curiosity.
Yeah. Because you don't have a way to find out, oh, I actually like this or I don't like this part. So that's what you were doing.
Yeah, as far as I know that I am interested in men, and at that time, of course, my mindset was, how could I attract like another like gay man? I didn't know about that, and I didn't even know what I like at that time in terms of the kind of gay men that I like. You know, I didn't know any of it. So like I said, this is like a happy medium for me to starting like coming out of my cocoon.
So you were pretending you're a woman talking to a straight man. So there was no
Yes.
hooking up. What happens if they say, hey, send me a picture?
Well, that's the porn sites are for. And at
Sir,
that time,
that is illegal, sir.
hey, as long as you crop that nicely. I collected that and I saved that on my. At that time, it was still like a. What is it called? A floppy disk?
Yeah.
Is that how you call it? Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So I saved it there, and I always brought it everywhere. So when they ask for that, I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know how they. When I think back about it, I feel like that those pictures were so fake. Like it was too professionally done, and I don't know how those guys believed me. I don't know.
Or maybe they're on the other side too, like trying to, I don't know, just to make believe.
Probably, but it just tells they just showed me what I wanted and what I didn't want. In a way, like in terms of like personality, or kind of like how somebody will carry themselves to other person, because they would have no problem talking about sex. They had no problem like put themselves on the camera, to strangers, to me, even though they thought that I was a woman. But it's still like, wow, it was something new to me, but it felt good to me. But it was just like, whoa, this is something new to me that I never experienced. So I just got comfortable with it at the time, to pretend myself as a woman.
You don't have any gay people in your community, or at least like you kind of feel like, hey, this guy's gay?
Well, of course, like I knew like a couple of friends of mine in junior high. I knew them, but me being me, I always like joke about them. I actually tease them. It's like internalized homophobia, right? So you try to like hide yourself, but then kind of like tease the other person for being what you actually are. So that's how I was, and that's all I knew about it, because what I learned from them, the body language or and everything, it's the things that I didn't want to show to other people.
The feminine movements.
Yeah.
Soft
right.
movements, yeah. Okay.
But I think, I felt that miserably. Because I couldn't hide it.
So you mentioned earlier, I don't know if I understood clearly, you never came out to your family?
No. No. That was a lie. I came out to two of my sisters, actually. And they were all five. Of course, they it was hard for them to accept that at first.
Really?
But I think,
seriously? I'll be like, yeah, Kley, I know.
no, well, of course they knew, but they didn't want the confirmation, right? It's always like that. It's the denial part of them. And to me, I say that because I just had to say it for the sake of like, I need them to understand why I moved to Canada, because they couldn't just like see me like move to Canada, by myself and try to build a life here with nobody around me. So I wanted them to also see there's other person in Canada that could you know, that show them that I will be fine here.
Mm, okay.
So yeah, just a couple of my sisters, but then the other ones I never really declared that I am,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel it's pretty clear that I am that person, and they have stopped asking me to get married soon. So I think there was a way. I think it was their way to kind of like acknowledge, you know what, just let him do whatever he needs to do and he would like to do. And because I just showed them how happy I am living the way I do right now in Canada.
Yeah, because that's who you are. You know, like I don't know. It's just like let's say if you were my brother, right, or sister, whatever you want to be addressed to. I'll be like, yeah, Kley, I know. Can we move on? Let's eat something.
Yeah, well, I guess it's more like about I'm pretty sure this is not only Indonesians, but most of Asian people would think the same. It's about like putting face,
Yeah.
right? Put up with a face. So we would feel embarrassed if we know one of our family members is unusually something else.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't they wouldn't want other people to judge, let alone judge them, maybe judge that person who is different. Let's say for them to hear other people to talk about me negatively. But I think it's because it depends on the person. Like for me, I don't really mind about other people who talk negatively about me. And I think they kind of see it right now, and they just kind of change their perception and the way they see things in life. And it's for better things for me.
Definitely. I have another question because this is one of the things that I always want to ask other Asian countries. So in the Philippines, there's an idea that homosexuality is acquirable through genes and your environment. Is that the same case in Indonesia?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. People are like, oh, because he has an uncle that is gay, that's why he's gay.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, none of my family were gay as far as I'm concerned. And I was brought up in such a masculine kind of environment, actually. It's a very patriarchy. Is that the word?
Patriarchal.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like the woman has to be in the kitchen, like cooking or anything, and then the guy has to make sure that we get good jobs to be able to provide things like that. So yeah, and this is like another proof to them that it has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with your environment. I mean, it's so broad. It's so what is it called? It's just on the surface when you say something like that. It's just because they just want to cover the deeper roots. It's just easier to say that way, I feel like, without wanting to learn more.
Definitely. So how did you end up in Canada?
Love. It was love, yes. Yeah, I fell in love with a Canadian guy, and I am so thankful and I'm so grateful. I'm forever grateful for this man in my life, even though we're no longer together. But we were in a relationship for almost 9 years together. And that was the reason why I'm here. And I am not afraid to say that if it's not because of him, I wouldn't be here.
Definitely.
And I'm not afraid to declare or like state the fact that, yeah, I didn't put any effort of whatever, like to study first, like to go through like immigration. Like, I mean, of course, we went through immigration, but it was not like that difficult for like, let's say, a single gay person to try to find a better life in different countries. But yeah, as much as I love, I deserve it, but I feel like still it was such a gift to me, to be able to meet this man and brought me here, and we're still good, we're still in touch, and we promised to each other that we will be in each other's lives no matter what, unless one of us decided to not see each other, which definitely not coming from me, that's for sure.
That's nice. But I don't agree with you saying that you didn't do any effort. You had to take care of your beautiful skin, you know what I mean? That's how you got him, you know what I mean?
Well, to me, it's more, I mean, it's why I said that I'm not afraid to say that maybe I don't deserve it, maybe I do. Because I know like some people that don't know me and my relationship in the past could think about why I was in a relationship with this guy was because I wanted to move to Canada.
Yeah. Did you get some heat on that?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there was like people who taught it, who taught about it. But then again, it's like, of course, it's normal for people to think that way. But let's just check the facts. Like, I was with him for almost 9 years, and I didn't sit around and wait, just let him provided me, by his money. No, as soon as I got here, I was looking for a job. I started my, I left my good career back in Indonesia, and started from the bottom again as a part-time sales associate and everything. And now that I'm in a management, team in retail. So if they think that I came here, I was in a relationship with this man because I wanted to go, because I wanted to move out from Indonesia. Well, yeah, sure, it's okay for you to have that perception, but I still love him. We're still like, see each other, and I think that's enough proof for everybody who ever thought about it to kind of like stop worrying about me and my relationship, because the only ones who knew was us. And I truly hope that my ex also felt that way too.
So you said it earlier. When you came to Canada, as you saw, you can be more free here, right? Did you turn up the gay level kind of deal? You know what I mean? Like you amp it up?
Well, not really. I think it's sort of more like, it's like it builds my confidence, to see how people accepted me. I'm not gonna talk about like people who said like a slur things, and like homophobia stuff at me. No, because I feel like so much love and acceptance more than that. So yeah, I think it just builds my confidence to be exactly how I am. And I never thought about like, I want to be like this or blah blah. But it's just because I'm now exposed to more of like the lifestyle, the popular culture and everything. So of course I learned from it, and to better myself, and it's not that I want to impress anyone about it. It's just how I translate it to other people.
Definitely. How did it go down when you said to your family, by the way, I'm marrying a man?
Oh, I wasn't married. So I was just
Okay.
like, yeah, I was just like in a common law relationship.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Well, I just told them that I am going to live with this man like from Canada, and
Mm,
thankfully before uh I move here, I got a chance to introduce him to couple of my family and like
mm,
spend time together. So it's just my way to kind of like, you know what, I'm learning that you're still learning about about my sexuality, about the perception that they had before, because of course, like gay person, it's very um, related to drugs and so on, like all of the negative things, right? HIV. But this is my way to for them to allowing them to learn about myself through this wonderful guy.
mhm,
And I think when I said like, okay, I will move to Canada because I will live with this guy. They had some sort of comfort a little bit
mm,
because they had a chance to get to know the person that I was in love with, and it totally helped them to also understand that there was so much more that they didn't know about LGBTQ community and how we are, what's the stereotypicals, and they could see that I'm still the same person. I'm still like their younger brother who is like lively and trying to be creative all the time and into arts, into like talks a lot and things like that. So there's nothing changed about it. They just need to learn that I will be okay and I
mm.
am okay.
Beautiful. So they're at peace with your decision. You mentioned LGBTQ. Which part of the LGBTQ community are the one that the community is like, these people, we don't like these people? Like in the letters. I'm just joking.
In the letters, what do
You know,
you mean?
like lesbian, gay,
Yeah,
bisexual.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Was
Well, I,
there?
I, I'm a proud gay man. I mean, I think I called myself a lady because it just how I kind of like would like to be treated,
Mm.
and it's just the kind of like movement or kind of like persona that I show to people that I'm a ladylike, even though not really when I'm sleeping because I snore or like I belch like very hard.
That's funny. What's your opinion about the pronouns?
The pronouns, I mean, I don't have I don't have any sort of like strong comments or opinions about it, honestly, because it's like, okay, you want to be called that. Okay, great. I will try my best to do that, to you, but please do not be so judgmental if I mispronounce you, because I feel like we we are all still learning. There's still new things coming up, and the things that we are used to, it takes time for us to get used to. You know what I mean? It's the same like right now, there's so much open-mindedness in LGBTQ community, like from heterosexual people, because things are changing like slowly and hopefully to be better. And this is one change as well that it's still in progress and we'll get there. So I think everyone should be very kind to each other, and giving the chance and allowing ourselves to understand and and getting used to whatever it is that you prefer to be called.
Yeah, I like that. Just open-mindedness that, hey man, this doesn't exist before. Give me a minute to get used to this.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I made mistakes by calling somebody to by her instead of like them or their. So and they were so lovely about it. They made sure like, oh, that's okay. You don't have to feel about it because it happens. And I always I always knew them as her before, but now it changed.
Mm.
So I'm still in the process of getting used to it and learning to to make myself always aware that things are changing.
For sure. How about you personally? What's your pronoun?
Him.
Yeah. But you said you're a lady.
I told you it's all about not maybe like about mannerism and also kind of the way I post myself in front of people. Yeah, but I
Definitely.
don't. Yeah, I'm still a him or his.
All
Whatever,
right.
again, it's like whatever. You can call me anything. Like
Yeah.
people mistakenly like calling me her or she is like thank you.
All right. So, do you have any advice to those people, young ones that currently, trying to find their sexuality or trying to find themselves with, with struggling with their feeling as being gay or possibly lesbian or whatever else?
My advice is just one: breathe. Don't try to force anything into anything. Just breathe. Let yourself breathe. Let yourself just be you. And it's such cliche, but it's true because don't let other people to tell you, what you should be like. I think you just have to stop thinking about it and just do exactly how you feel about you.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're getting there, but let's close out with this. The Jewkarta. Let's get back because I want to talk about food.
Okay.
Let's talk about your amazing food blog. How did it start? When did it start? Why did it start?
Well, this project was actually a fun project that was born in November 2020. So that was like shortly after things were opening up again after the pandemic, and we both lost our jobs. So we always wanted to do Jakarta since we knew each other. Like the first date, like on the first date, that was like, well, of course, the Jakarta name was not there yet, but our love for food and being able to present and put a spotlight on the restaurant industry, food and beverages in Vancouver during pandemic, especially. Uh, it was always there. And then when we didn't have jobs, that's when it happened. It was like this is the great time for us to start doing it. And yeah, and I think the combination of Michael's skills of writing beautifully and the way I react to food and just like be myself and with a humble skill of my photography. Also like it's getting better and people getting to know us a little better and more. So yeah, it started with a takeouts only, like a review for takeouts, and with a video of like I did like 20 minutes or something like that. And we sort of like, okay, I think that's too long. Let's like make it to reels, which is like shorter. And I wanted to create also a platform for Michael to be able to use his skill, on the right kind of context, because he used to be, you know, working as editors and all in magazines and in Vancouver, but then he's not anymore. So yeah, it's I just wanted people to also see how amazing this guy is, and I also love photographing food, so why not? And we have to eat anyway, so
Definitely. Gourmet food. What's your opinion about it?
gourmet food not my style. Not really. I mean, I have to be in the very right mood to do gourmet food, but I think coming from Indonesia, it's all about street food. It's all about comfort food. I think it's the same with any part in Asia too. So I always, but not so much about quantity, because I think there are some cultures that's all about quantity too, instead of like quality. But to me, I just love like homemade food, whatever. Like, even though it's probably just tastes like salty, but nothing else. I don't know. There's something about it that just, I guess it's the love, right? It's like, somebody prepare especially for you. Then you feel that.
Yeah, I agree with that. My dad he's an amazing cook, and he's not selfish with his recipes. If you ask him, he will give it to you, no problem. Like exactly how he does it, he will tell you step by step. He will even make you watch him do it. But no one could copy it. No one, right?
Yeah.
And people always ask him like, how come you doing it well? I'm not doing it well, And he always says, you're forgetting the magic recipe, the most important. And people always say, what is it? Like love.
Yeah.
You have to cook it with love. You have to cook it not for you, but for the people that will eat it.
Yep, that's very true. Nothing's better than homemade food, for sure.
Nothing. Do you cook?
I do a little bit, yes.
Are you good? That's the question.
Well, I don't think that I am eligible to answer that question. You have to ask Michael about it.
I guess
as
so.
far
The
as
critic.
I can. But I'm definitely a better cook than Michael, for sure.
Okay, so he does the criticism, and you're the one who cooks. I get it. Oh, one question. Why do you think there's no Michelin star restaurant in Canada?
I think they're just talking about it. I think they will have like the Michelin star tier is, I think it's here. I don't know if it's now or soon enough. And they're visiting like Vancouver and Toronto, if I'm mistaken.
Hey, what happened to Montreal? Come on, man.
I know. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's so much kind of type of services that they have to learn. Probably, I definitely never been to like a Michelin star restaurant before, and again, this is not my interest, in trying it, in trying one of them, because I feel like, I don't know, there's so much fuss about it. And again, like I said, you could take me to a Michelin star restaurant and side by side with somebody that my mom cooked, probably. It would definitely, they're not worthy to me, because to me it has like that sense of emotion with my mom's cooking, even though it's just, I don't know, maybe just rendang or like chicken curry or something like that. But it's my mom, and if I had a chance to taste that once again, I would choose that over any 5 Michelin stars. I don't care.
Amen. I actually was a guest on a radio station, and I was asked by the guest, that where is the best Filipino food? And I always say, I'm sorry, it's my mom's house.
Yeah.
I don't want to send you somewhere and then it won't be good, and that will represent the Filipino food to you if it's not good.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyways, I think we're there. Before we close out, do you have any last remark or whatever you want to say?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much again, to you, especially to reach out and wanted to get to know me and my life. It's such a short time just to talk about everything, obviously, but I really appreciate the opportunity and the space that allowing other people to get to know me. So yeah, if you would like to follow along, you can follow my Instagram at Kley Klemens, or at Jewkarta as well. It spells Jewkarta for my food blogging with my boyfriend. And that's, you can use it every time you come to Vancouver. Go check out my page and you'll be able to see and to know where to go for a great eats in Vancouver.
Beautiful. I might use it because I'm planning to go next year to Vancouver. Maybe.
Do it. Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. But again, Kley, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Again, Kley, thank you for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for listening. This is Aaron Deliosa for An Immigrant's Life. I'll see you guys later.